President Trump will not be the only one focusing on the economy. At tonight's State of the Union address, Democrats expected to draw attention to the issue of affordability, as it remains a top concern for many voters. Democratic Congressman Ritchie Torres of New York, for example, will bring Reverend John Udo-Okon, a South Bronx pastor and community advocate, as his guest tonight. The Reverend runs a food pantry and says he has seen conditions get worse in recent months, with more people showing up for food, often lining up as early as 3 or 4 in the morning. And both Congressman Torres and the Reverend join us now. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us this morning. Congressman Torres, tell me about the gentleman to your left and why his story and the story of your district fit into this story that you're hoping to tell tonight, and this reality for not just the people of the Bronx, but people across the country struggling in this economy.
Yes, so Pastor John is a faith leader in the South Bronx. He runs one of the largest pantries in one of the poorest congressional districts in America. And as you know, Donald Trump ran on a promise to lower prices, but instead he's done the exact opposite. Under Trump, the cost of food, healthcare, housing, utilities have all been rising. And President Trump is more concerned with oil in Venezuela or minerals in Greenland than he is with lowering prices here in the United States. He promised to put America first, but instead he's putting working families last. And the combination of rising costs under Donald Trump and the cuts to the social safety net have put enormous strain on working families and the faith-based institutions and food pantries that serve them.
And Pastor, it is that combination, is it not, just of the increased need, the increased demand, but also the cuts to organizations like yours and others across cities of this country that provide essential care and food and shelter for people that have made this moment so challenging. So if you can just describe, Pastor, what you're seeing maybe different today than you saw even a year ago.
You know, one of the first things that the present administration did when they came into office was to pull funding for most of the programs that were supporting our community. We lost funding for food programs, we lost funding for health outreach activities, and from day one, it has been chaos. So much pain and suffering, uncertainties, and we're dealing with you know, a crisis in our community where most of the people, or let me say, majority of the people, they live below the poverty level. And today, many of them do not have access to food. They cannot go to the grocery store to shop because of high prices. And some of the safety nets, like SNAP benefit that we're depending on, has been under attack by this administration. And so the people are suffering, coupled with the fact that in our community, we have a lot of immigrants, you know, people that are just recently resettling in the U.S. And because of the aggressive immigration policy, many of them, you know, are facing so much challenges. And I want to thank my Congressman Ritchie Torres, who has stepped in so much, you know, even coming to volunteer with us and always looking for ways to help us meet up with the shortfalls that we've been experiencing as a result of the cuts by the Trump administration. There is so much chaos, so much uncertainty, so much pain that has been brought upon our community.
And Congressman, it's been more than one blow, right? There's the one big beautiful bill which benefited the rich, but cut social services to those who need it most. We have seen so much of the president's economic policies, tariffs and the like, drive prices steadily forward. But we all expect President Trump to go up there tonight and suggest that, you know, his economy is working, that he has even perhaps solved the affordability crisis. You know, there's a segment of the population that will believe him. How do you, as Democrats, try to convince them otherwise?
Well, the notion that Donald Trump has solved the affordability crisis is dangerously delusional. You know, America is the wealthiest country on earth, yet 47 million Americans are struggling to put food on the table. Right? In a country as wealthy as ours, hunger is not an inevitability, it's a choice. And Donald Trump has chosen to cut Medicaid by $1 trillion. He has chosen to cut SNAP by $200 billion. He has chosen to impose tariffs, which are effectively regressive taxes on working people, and people are feeling the impact. And so the results of the 2025 election and the results of the 2026 election will be a resounding rejection of Donald Trump on the issue that matters most, which is affordability.
Pastor, if Congressman Torres is correct in that how the Republicans and Trump supporter view of the economy is dangerously delusional, what is your message for the president and for Republicans?
You know, as a pastor, I want to say that, you know, I'm persuaded, I believe that, you know, everyone that calls themselves Christian should live by the teachings of the Bible. And the cardinal teaching of the Christian faith is love. Love God, love your neighbor as you love yourself. This administration has brought so much pain, and there is no love in what they do. There's no love in taking food away from children. There's no love in putting our seniors who are on fixed income, you know, at risk. There's no love taking away, you know, health care from the poor. And that's why, you know, my church, we step in to help. We run, you know, food pantries, mobile pantries every week around our city, the Bronx. And I just want them to have a little love, a little humanity in them, to know that they are poor people and that God loves the poor.
Yeah. Democratic Congressman Ritchie Torres of New York and Reverend John Udo-Okon, thank you both very much for coming on the show this morning.